Happy Wednesday, folks. In this video, we're going to go over 10 players that you should be watching. We all should be paying attention to in this up-and-coming preseason game on Saturday. It's the final preseason game, and in this game, there's a lot to look at. It's the final of the 53. There's a handful of players that are trying to make this roster, and that's what it's all about. But before we get into today's video, we're doing a sub-battle versus my man over there for the Houston Texans. We need to win the sub-battle this week. It ends on Saturday. Subscribe to the channel. Tomorrow we'll find out where we are at. Let's get into the 10 players, and the first one that I would like to watch is Jake Bates. Not it's for the reason you think. It's for a different reason. It's just special teams and kickoffs. That's it. Have nothing to do really the field goals or anything, but we've had a lot of special teams errors in preseason and some of those kickoffs now. So you don't worry. Remember, Jake Bates had the same issue last year in preseason with the kickoffs. They did the funky kickoffs in preseason, didn't work out. But in the regular season, they really stuck to the script that they had, just doing the normal kickoffs, and it worked. So I'm not too worried about Jake Bates, but I would like to see what he can do with one more game. How about Ian Kennelly, one of the Lions players that is local? He's getting a lot of love around here, but we need help at that backup safety position. There's a lot of question marks because we've had some injuries, right? We drafted a guy in Dan Jackson we thought was going to be safety for the Lions, but ended up not being the case because of injury. And if you look at the Lions safeties, there has been some injuries, most notably Maurice Norris. He's had some issues, obviously. We've seen that. Lawrence Strickland has had some issues throughout the time here. So, but remember, Rock Ya-Sin also can play safety as well, so that does help out the Lions' case if they're wanting to use more universal players. But I definitely would like to see what Kennelly can do with another opportunity in preseason to play. Again, quickly subscribe to the channel. We're doing a sub-battle versus the Houston Texans, and they're talking garbage, saying they're going to get more subs than me, and I say to the nah-nah, to the nah-nah. Next here is Mitchell Agude. The Detroit Lions have a need at edge. Most recently, Ahmed Hassaneed was injured with a pec. We've had already injuries to Joshua Pascal, right? Marcus Davenport's on this team who has injury history. So we're looking for another edge to help out. And in preseason so far, he's had 2 solo tackles. That's really it. Of the edges that we're going to be talking about in the next few, he is the one, in my opinion, that has the most to prove. And I think these guys are basically battling for 1 or 2 positions potentially. Agude is not going to have a good A if he doesn't perform on Saturday. Next player I got here is Myles Adams, a player who's kind of been sticking out a little bit in a positive manner in training camp. He's the guy that can play edge, and he's a tweener dude. He can play edge and interior for the Lions. The Lions like that type of production. Obviously, we have a lot of injuries upon the defensive line. I literally just spoke about that. And it's an issue for Detroit right now, but you got to understand that Aleem McNeil will be coming back relatively soon. Not only that, but you're going to have Joshua Pascal come back pretty soon. So even if one of these guys, say they make the final 53, doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be on the team the whole season. There is going to be players that's going to be coming back, especially on the defensive line, and that's where there's going to be some problems with some of these guys, but not with the initial 53. Next player that I am really curious to watch here is Isaac Ukwu. Isaac Ukwu so far has had a pretty good preseason, if you ask me. Now, they only credit him with 1 sack, but it was pretty much 2. It should have been 2. Solo tackles there. 0 forced fumbles, 0 interceptions, and Ukwu's getting better in stopping the run. That's what his improvement has been. Same with Al-Qadim Mohammed, even though he's already made the team. But the Lions are looking for somebody for that depth position. They need to have somebody who can come in here and help out at that edge position. The depth is a little bit murky. A lot of issues when you look at the depth right now. Right? You see Aiden Hutchinson, we're perfectly fine with. That's great. Marcus Davenport, now in theory he's great, but he's had an injury history. Joshua Pascal as well. Hassanin was just placed. He's going to be out for a while with the pec. So we need one of these guys to step up. Nate Lynn as well, who's had a pretty good camp. Of all the players of Ukwu, Agude, or Nate Lynn, or Myles Adams, anyone, who do you think makes in the defensive line? Just pick one of those guys. You can pick two. Give me your thoughts in the comments. Let's continue on here with my number 5 player for this game on Saturday, Dominic Lovett. Him and Jackson Meeks are having a hell of a battle. And right now, we don't know if they're going to go 5, 6, or 7 wide receivers. But if you've been watching Lovett, he's had 7 receptions, 45 yards, an average of 6.4, 2 drops. But initially, he looked struggling, I thought, in the Hall of Fame game trying to catch a football, and he got more comfortable, I thought, all the way to the Falcons game. And he looked pretty good. Honestly, did not look too bad. And with what he has done in training camp, if the Lions go 6 receivers, I think it's going to be a coin flip between him and Jackson Meeks. I do. If it's going to be 7, they both could do it. It's hard for me to believe the Lions would go that many receivers, even though they both deserve to make it. And that leads me to number 4. That's Jackson Meeks, wide receiver here. Just been doing a great job so far in training camp and in preseason. Jackson Meeks has showcased that he is trying to make this roster. And he's the bigger guy, right? 6'2", 221. Meeks could be a option, say if the Lions wanted to move away from Tim Patrick as well, because we know Tesla's making it. But what if they wanted to go 6? That is an option, or if they go 7. But look at it, 11 receptions, 176 yards, 2 touchdowns, 16 average. He's balling in preseason. And remember, he's only 22 years old. I think if the Lions do release Meeks, he has an absolute potential to get picked up by another team. Maybe Lovett makes the practice squad if they were to do one of those. But I think that Meeks probably would get picked up. Number 3 players for a different reason than all of this. It's just simply because we haven't seen him get a lot of reps. That's Sione Vaki. He's already made the team. We already know that. But he is the number 4 running back for the Detroit Lions. He haven't got a lot of reps in training camp due to him having injuries. Now, he did play the Falcons game last week, and that's good, but he still needs some more reps. I just love for him to get more reps because, remember, we use 2 back sets, and if there is going to be, say, if Jahmyr Gibbs gets injured, he is going to be the guy that you'd think that would kind of take his role in a pinch. Or what if Montgomery and Craig can't go or whatever? They have Sione Vaki, so he's not going to get a lot of touches in the regular season. Not at all. Not much. So if you don't get a lot in the regular season, we need this guy to get it in the number 2 on my list here is Kyle Allen, the quarterback, the backup quarterback right now, fighting for that job between him and Hendon Hooker. But he is definitely on the list, not because he's not winning the quarterback battle. He absolutely is winning the quarterback battle. But just because he wins the quarterback battle doesn't mean he is going to get the 53-man roster, so he's trying to win that backup role. Now, I think he's pretty much got it locked up, but all he's got to do is not screw up in this game. And he shouldn't have as much time as Hendon Hooker because this is going to be for the third string, so just don't screw it up. Again, sub battle against my guy from Houston over there, trying to beat him in the sub battle. Tomorrow we'll see where we're at, but hit that like button so we can smoke him. And number one here is Hendon Hooker. This is his last and final straw here in Detroit. If he fails and he continues to stink up the storm, he absolutely will not make this team. He'll get cut. Because the Lions got too much of a good roster to warrant having a 27-year-old third-string quarterback. And I know that sounds bad when I did the age and everything, but that's just the facts of the situation for his third year. He hasn't developed right. He sucked in preseason. 117 yards with 2 interceptions and 2 fumbles, or 3 fumbles. Multiple fumbles. This is his last hoorah. If he comes out, and he's probably going to get 3 quarters in this game, and if he comes out and does horrible again and plays bad, you can pretty much lock it up as he will not make this roster. If he balls out, maybe, just maybe, I still don't have him making the roster. It's going to be really difficult for Hendon Hooker. So those are my 10 players that I selected to watch in this up-and-coming game on Saturday. I'll be live at noon. The game starts at 1 p.m. Subscribe to the channel. With that said, folks, adios.